And we got Vic Merc, who just played a little custom. He put a very interesting deck.
So yeah, I was at Travis's card shop, Cards and Board Games. I ended up playing the rock deck called Adamancipators. I finally got the deck in from Roots on Monday, and I said, screw it, I'm gonna put it together right before tournament, so less than an hour before tournament, and said, yeah, if I top, I top. I got top 8. I went X1. My only loss in Swiss was to Tri Brigade because I misplayed game 3. Because making Appaloosa plus Herald against them is broken if you negate the right cards. And then I lost in top 8 to Salomon Grape because he's a slow player. But it's whatever. Let's just get straight onto the deck profile.
Alright.
Starting off, 3 Researcher, 3 Seeker, 3 Analyzer. You have to play 3 of all of these. If you don't, then you're really not going to see them as much as you want to. Yes, they're all searchable by Gallant Granite, but you want to see them. There's sometimes where I open all 3 of them and it's broken. You start off with this, then special summon this, then special summon this, just keep on going. And then the one Dragite, the one pretty much vanilla water monster, not. It's just a draw card. If you summon it, you just draw a card. I saw that out a lot, to be honest, going second. It was just there, just draw. So 10 Adamancipators. Next, I did play the Prank Kid Engine. Play the 3 Roxy's and the 1 Dropsies. Starting off with this in your opening hand is actually pretty great, or even just seeing off your first Excavate is pretty good. I wish we didn't have to banish for it, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Next, the Quagmire Engine. So 3 Supplier, 3 Guardian. Of course, on whenever a rock is sent to grave from field, this will special summon from hand and then search one of these. So if you have a normal summon, then this is broken. You get the normal summon and negate, so you can't get a beard or anything like that. And it's just an extender as well. It also helps you chain block with Roxy's and other stuff. Next, Triple Doki Doki. I know 3 of this is probably a lot. Most people probably play 2, but I just wanted to see it off of any of the Adamancipators because, or even just normal summoning this. I think, well, against Drytron, I played in round 5. Game 1, he hand trapped me twice, so I could only end on Appaloosa with 2 materials. He ended up outing that after I negated it. He took it with talents, and then I ended up top decking a second Doki Doki, so I went normal summon Doki Doki, pitch Doki Doki, summon Seeker, and just went off from there and OTK'd them. Next, I do play Foolish Burial and Miracle Rupture, so these cards are for that. This card right here does out window. Any of the Foolish Burial cards sends this. You just book the window. Window's very hurtful, harmful to combo decks, of course. This also outs any face-up spell or trap, so that's also pretty good. And it's just an extender just when you foolish it from deck. Next, I do play the 2 Parallel Exceeds. I thought about playing 3, but it didn't really come up. There were every once in a while where I did draw an extra Parallel Exceed off of like Roxy's when I already had one in hand, but either way, it's still at that point just an extender. If I don't get both, then that's fine. It's really just to make Granite or Abyss Dweller. And then I play the 1 Plague Spreader for the Needle Fiber play. Next, for the spells, that's all the monsters. I play 4 Monster Reborns for the most part, 3 signs, 1 regular Monster Reborn. This card's busted because it's not once per turn. If this card was at more than 1, of course we would play it, but yeah, only can play 1. Now, any of those Monster Reborn cards plus any of these 3 Foolish cards is, for the most part, combo. You can Foolish out any rock you want and then Monster Reborn it. That's all that matters. Next, of course, for going second, I have 3 Darker Little Moors in the main deck, just because I am forced to go second. I can out any board that's made, and then bounce everything back with like the Risen Dragite or anything. Just attack over everything, probably bigger than them most likely. Next, for hand traps, because I don't play any hand traps, but I'm playing stuff that if I do get hand trap, I can at least continue playing. So of course, 1 Call by the Grave, 2 Talents. I think I only drew Talents once, and I don't think I ever drew Call by the Grave, which is crazy. No, I lied. I drew Call by the Grave once against Trap Brigade. But they're both good cards in theory. That's it for the main deck. It's 42 cards. That's, of course, my normal. Everyone knows that. At least by now, anyways. Next for the extra deck, starting off with the Miyamu. Of course, starting off the combo with the Prank Kids. Of course, going into do. I thought about playing Pranks just to get the consistent recycle of the Prank Kids so I can keep on doing it more often whenever I draw like Roxy's. But I didn't play in this build right now. I'll probably put in the next time I do play it. So either that or I will play like Leonite plus Bow Wow instead of this just because Bow Wow's a fire. But either way, it worked. Next would be IP Masquerena. I didn't actually get to summon this card, but of course it's just part of the inboard. Just so you can make it Unicorn or something. I did play the Needle Fiber because, of course, it's Needle Fiber. You play, I don't know, like 11, 12 tuners, so might as well be playing it. And most of them are level 2 or lower. But it does come up for a play in the extra deck, which I'll show you in just a second. Next, Nightmare Unicorn. Of course, it's Unicorn. The Appaloosa and the Access Code for the 2 rank 4s. This, of course, for going for game. This is just to make the first turn play so you don't get in the beard. Most of the time, they're not going to beard at a certain point, especially if you just searched Researcher, or if you haven't used Researcher yet, because Researcher will just summon itself when you control the token. So making Appaloosa is pretty free for 3. That's going to be it for the Link monsters. Now, for Synchros, I play the 1 Formula Synchron. You only play this card to summon off Needle Fiber, so you can actually go into a pretty busted card that I'll show you in a couple seconds. It's pretty much as thought, but for everything.
The spice.
Next, I do play the Herald. You can make this with any of the level 2 tuners plus the Doki Doki. It's great against Tri-Brigade. It's great against Drytron. It's good also just like, say if you do get hand trapped, you can make this and at least have a negate so you can keep on trying to play before you get in a beard or anything. Next, I do play the 1 Raptite. This card's broken, to be honest. It's one of the best combo extenders in this deck, of course. The 1 Dragite. This card will bounce the entire field if possible. It's non-targeting and it's a spell negate, spell and trap negate, so it's broken.
The little baby diamond emancipator.
Yeah, to shuffle it back, which is still broken. Next, of course, Savage. Omni negate, need it. Now, this next Synchro, this is the busted card. This is as a thought for everything. If you can get this off, you should be winning the game. Of course, Hot Red Dragon, Archfiend, King Calamity. I only summoned it maybe twice because I would have summoned it twice actually, but the Tri-Brigade player scooped game 1 after I made my field and I set this up. I summoned it against Virtual World and they're like, okay, game 2. Because they couldn't play. Like, it's just broken. It literally just says, when this card activates, your opponent can't activate anything. And you can't activate nothing in response. So it's literally as a thought, but it stops spells and traps as well. So it's broken. Next, for the 2 rank 4s, I played Dweller, and of course, Gallic Granite. Of course, this searches the entire deck. And of course, this right here is for Drytron, Tri-Brigade, Dino, anything that's graveyard reliant. It's not too bad. Whenever I do make it, I normally have the Dragite, the level 4, underneath it, so it gets an extra 500 boost, so does every other water monster like the Synchro. But yeah, next, side deck. Side deck is, of course, completely up to you. It's completely player's choice, depending on your locals. This card's busted. Dimensional Shifter. almost every match that I sided in, I drew as my 5th card, except for against Tri Brigade going second. I drew as my 6th card, which kind of sucked. If I drew as my 5th card, I just win right then and there. I just 2-0 them. But this card is busted because you don't really need your graveyard anymore since Block Dragon's on the card. If Block Dragon was still a card, you would never play this card in this deck. Next, the 1 Pankratops. Of course, this Pankratops, out back row and stuff. The double Nibiru is searchable in this deck because of Gallant Granite. So you don't really need to even play the 3. Next, the Feather Duster and the Triple Twin Twister for spell and trap removal. You don't really need Lightning Storm in this build or anything like that. Traps, of course, 1 reboot for any trap deck. It's busted for a reason. And then for going first, you play the Imperial Order plus 3 anti-spells, so you don't get Darkwood no more, Lightning Stormed, Droplets, or anything like that. It's just broken. It's also great against Sky Strikers, even though I didn't play against it yesterday, but it's whatever. That's pretty much it. Like I said, I play my deck at 42. That's just me normally. I'm probably never going to change that. There's probably every once in a while where I will play 40, but it's not that often. The deck is fun. I literally just played it for fun. Didn't really think about topping, and I was like, okay, I win X1.
Any shoutouts?
Of course, shoutouts to the man behind the camera, Maurice A. Newsom. B Roots. Of course, shoutouts to the rest of my team. Shoutouts to Michael Bond, David Haggerty. And yeah, shoutouts to Travis for holding the tournament. It was actually a pretty big locals for a while. It's the first OTS locals. We got 3 OTS on entry. It was 32, 33 people. So good amount of people for small Thursday night locals. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.